Hello, hello, hello. How are we guys doing? There is this one song on YouTube by Cimeris, or Cimeris, because I have a French way of reading things. It's titled Kiss Me Like a Lie, and I'm completely obsessed by it. So, this whole read that we are about to embark upon is basically inspired by that song. And it's gonna be, so if you watch tarot reads on YouTube, there's usually called what are his feelings for you, what are his thoughts, his, hers, if you, or you versus them. If you watch Christina from Sassy Scorpio Tarot, which I adore, she's wonderful. So this is gonna be like a you versus them situation, or his thoughts, his feels, your feels, but centered and inspired by Kiss Me Like a Lie from Cimeris, which means that each position will have a broader theme for each position, and that broader theme will be explored a little further based off the lyrics. As per usual, I will obviously indicate what decks I'm using and show them on camera. So the clarifying deck will be the Van Gogh Tarot, which works wonderfully well. And for this spread, because it's like a love theme thingy, we are introducing Secrets of the Rose Tarot. Secrets of the Rose. I found this one on Temu, but it's a pretty good quality, cardstock quality. The oracle will be Messy Truth, as I think it fits absolutely the theme, and the central, or just like the presentation of the signs for who I'm reading, will be the Barbiery Zodiac signs. So main deck, clarifying deck, and the two oracle cards. And I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit so you can have a nice screenshot opportunity. Here we are. The Van Gogh, I found it on AliExpress, but it's also on Temu. I saw it. It potentially has two names, but you can easily find the Van Gogh Tarot. Secret of the Rose on Temu, Messy Truth on Temu, and this, any regular normal shop will have the Zodiac. Barbiery Zodiac Oracle. So let's dive into it. Hi Gemini, how are we guys doing? This is gonna be a sort of a you versus them read, inspired by Kiss Me Like a Lie by Cimeris, as I say with my French accent. So it might look a little scary because it's gonna be a 9-card spread, but I assure you we will go through this in a beautiful, harmonious way. I already did Aries and Taurus. It went super fine. Grab a snack, grab a drink. Cheers. Decaf coffee, because I already had my regular coffee this morning. And it's gonna be spicy, crunchy, crispy, juicy. It's gonna be interesting. So, well, Gemini riding into victory. There is that also beautiful, bold, assertiveness energy to that card here. Following Four of Swords, a bit of rest, but meaningful rest. The sort where you think things through. You might have had an epiphany. You saw things for what they were, and there was like a period of assessing things, truth, facts, lies, whatever. What is up for my Gemini, please? We often see the Four of Wands as just resting, but it's meaningful resting. It's like when you are laying in bed or on the couch and you let your thoughts come at you and you analyze, you take notice of what is prevalent, what comes back more and more and more. You have been very defensive against change. But now, the Chariot being the first card that popped out, maybe you are finally ready to move on and to make that swift but meaningful decision of being bold, passionate, playful, and actually be determined to move into a safe space. So, any off the record messages for my Gemini? Yeah, you're moving into sun, into beautiful, easy breezy, beautiful happiness. Dropping the weight, dropping the load. Something for my Gemini, please. No, that was like just me bad shuffling. Well, those seem to be the off-the-record messages. And again, Knight of Swords. There is like a heavy intent, or at least heavy energetic signature wavelength of energy movement. With the Knight of Swords, it's very much assertive communication about potentially moving, since we have a lot of Chariot and Knights thus far. You might be a little brash in how you communicate this desire for movement, so be advised be cautious of the words that you will be using. You have that inner strength, that inner patience, that inner tenderness of taming the beast, and in this case the beast is literally the challenge that you are embarking on with embracing change and transformation. Whoa, mama. Seven of Cups, options, dreams, illusions, delusions. So be cautious of what you are mingling with. Not everything that shines is gold. And as you can see here, the lady depicted seems to be one of those affordable fun, sort of. Not to, go graphic and shit, but it's, you pay for some things, but it's not the same value that you thought that you were investing into. To remain very cryptic. So, Gemini, anything else? Is this Seven of Cups the thing that you are living in the past? Two of Swords. You are not making a decision. And if you have been in this position of not making a decision, it's time to get a move on that. So yeah, as I was saying, is that Seven of Cups the illusion, delusion, false, shimmering thing, sparkly dust being thrown in your eyes? Was that what you are living in the past, that you're moving away from? Queen of Wands, very assertive, bold, sexy energy, confident. If it's not exterior to you, you have that inner confidence to also match the Strength card that you just had into boldly moving into something else. Into having the courage to end something. A whole stack, actually 3 cards popped out. Six of Swords, moving into safety, serenity, peace, death, transformation, change again. Seven of Swords, definitely leaving something shady, some lies, deceit, thieving behind, which I hope that is what you are allowing yourself to change and move away from. So, let's poker. And we have the Four of Swords and the Moon. So you definitely took some time to reflect on things that were hidden to you, things that were shrouded, unclear. It might have been a bit of a scary process to like actually finally allow those thoughts to creep to the surface. But it was a necessary thing, and with that you saw the truth. There's a new fire, new spark, new drive, new will to allow change and transformation for the better into your life, which is a good thing. So I'm gonna move this here. This is gonna be your side. This is gonna be their side. And first let's cut the deck. So like I said, this is inspired by Simmery's Kiss Me Like a Lie, which I adore that song. But because of the nature of my channel, focusing mostly on healing and shadow work, there is a risk of this going a little darker than what your usual YouTube tarot read is. All light and fluffy and all that good stuff, so be forewarned, but I'm gonna try to make it as... So I know it's not evident from the get-go, but this is technically the shape of a lips. So this is your Cupid little thingy at top. The lips go up. This is the corner of your lips going down. Same on the other side, and this is truly that the center point of the lips. And as per usual, bottom of the deck as a clarifying energy. So your side, their side. And yes, I always use the main energy and the bottom of the deck as a clarifying contextual. Oh, we have that again. Because I do like to have a layer of deeper context. And holy shite, the final card, the bridge, the gap between you two, what should bring you together is an end. Ten of Swords, it's betrayal and backstabbing. So yeah, this is definitely gonna be potentially heavy and dark, but we are here to address that so that we can make better decisions moving forward in the choices that we are making, so that we are not repeating cycles. My aim here on this channel is to bring awareness to toxic things so we can break cycles and create new healthy ones. So let me just go a little down. Okay. So like I said, this is going to be your side, Gemini. This is going to be your partner's side, but feel free to switch the energies if you feel like I'm reading the situations vice versa. On your side, the Seductive Lie. Kiss me like a lie, the kind that makes you stay. And I know I sing off key, I'm sorry. I listen to this song like almost 3 times a day, or I still can't. I'm not a singer. Anyway, you offer intoxicating, beautiful deception, the kind of falsehood that feels like devotion and keeps someone emotionally hooked, even if it's hollow. And we have here 3 of Wands, which normally is a card of expectations and patience. So It's like you put in some work, you set your ships to sail, and you're expecting a return on that. And we have strength. So interesting. This basically tells me that you are projecting and lying on how patient you can be, on how much or how long you can sustain your inner patience, your serenity, the calmness with which you tackle important challenges in your life. It's intoxicating, but it's a beautiful deception because you are definitely not patient. You want to, or you project this illusion of taming the beast, but it's an illusion. It's a falsehood. It feels like devotion and keeps someone emotionally hooked, but deep inside, it's coming at the cost of you suffering because it's an illusion that you need to maintain, which is contrary to your nature of all the opposite, of being action driven, of being passionate and being curious and being everywhere a little bit. So let's see what clarifiers we have for this Three of Wands strength. Oh, that was way too much. But now I feel like I want to ask, why do you feel the need to deceive and to lie about your expectations? Knight of Pentacles, again a card of slow movement. It's very practical, very, very reliable approach to the situation, but it's also fake and false and phony. Do you feel like your partner is expecting of you to be resilient and patient and always there on the long term, even if it's shattering you inside, because it is counter your own core nature, but you keep up the lie because you know it's what it's expected of you? Very interesting. Let's see what's on their side. Mercy denied. I was never meant for mercy. Deep internal belief that she is unworthy of gentleness, accepts punishment as her natural state. Except here, with the Seven of Swords, it's lying, cheating, and deceit. So does she feel called out? Two of Swords and not making a decision. Forcefully, stubbornly, dilly-dallying in not making a decision to comfort with the honest truth in some capacity, because the Seven of Swords is lying, cheating, and deceit. Does your partner feel like she... Okay, so I'm gonna... Or they, rather, I need to use the more global language here. Does your partner feel like they need to lie and cheat in order to keep the status quo in not making a decision? But it's counterintuitive because the more they are dilly-dallying in this non-action space, the more you are suffering also, because you are selling the lie of stable, serene serenity, of calmness, of resilience, of being practical and here for the long run, but you are expecting something, and Geminis are not exactly the most patient signs on the planet, so it might be excruciating for you, but it's also painful for them. Sorry, that's Discord. Oh, can you please shut up? Okay. Yeah. So on one hand, we have intoxicating, beautiful deception, and it's mirrored back into not believing that, or believing that that person is unworthy of gentleness and accepts punishment as her natural state, but it's also shrouded in falsehood and lies. And it's interesting how in the first card there is a separation between the characters, so there is a distance in both energies, physical and then back to back, as in emotional, not resonating on the same level, because it's not built from an honest, genuine, shared space. Something for the Seven of Swords. What is the lie? What is the deceit? And we have strength and justice. So balance will be brought forth. Justice will reign where something false had been established. So whatever the lie that was perpetrated and kept alive, or whatever the lie upon which this thing was built upon, will be eventually quote unquote destroyed, and very much honesty and fairness will be brought to the forefront. Give me a second, please. Something that popped to my mind was, is her lie or their lie reflecting your lie? Because you're lying to yourself and lying to the situation, and as a response to that, this person or this side is mirroring it back at you by being shady, deceptive, lying, cheating with that Seven of Swords and the Two of Swords. Whereas you are expecting something in return, but being falsely patient with that Three of Wands, they are purposefully and intentfully not making a decision with that Two of Swords to keep lingering in this false illusion, this lie with that Seven of Swords. In either which case, eventually justice will be brought forth, and since we now have strength twice on their side and on your side, you technically both have the inner resilience to see the situation through some way, somehow. Hopefully at a lesser cost, or with not much destruction in the process. Back on your side, the false depth, crocodile tears, hold me like you mean it, then turn and run away. Master of intense momentary intimacy, followed by sudden abandonment. Performative passion without follow-up, and we have the Nine of Wands, which normally is a card of guarding the fort, being defensive, being standoffish, pushing people off, and just being very stubbornly guarding something at a cost of your own energy and fire. It's very taxing, it's very wary. And with that, we have the Ace of Swords. So at least you are realizing how toxic and taxing this whole guarding the fort and literally defending something is actually on your whole self, on your energetic field, on your body, on your mental state, on your emotional state. So at least there's that clarity. But with the Nine of Swords, Nine of Wands, sorry, there's also that energy of stubborn resilience, transforming the upper first position lie of the inner strength and resilience into now a stubborn resilience in keeping things as they are at all cost, even if it's taxing, for the sake of keeping appearances, in the hopes of something somehow somewhere working out, but deep within having that clarity that it's all a sham, which is kind of sad. But I mean, this is why we are doing shadow work, to address those pesky little things that grow into mountains that literally block you and slow you down. Seven of Swords again. So there's definitely lying, cheating, and deceit even now mirroring back on your side. So are you falsely guarding that, whatever you are guarding? You are falsely keeping the illusion alive for the sake of whatever. You know your life better than me. I'm not here to judge and spy beyond what I need to express to the energies. You also have the Five of Cups, which is mourning the loss and grieving the loss of something. This could be time, this could be energy invested in this whole situation that is a sham. It could be a lot of things, but you are grieving the loss of something, or maybe the loss of the illusion breaking down. The illusion that you have been worked so hard in trying to maintain, but it's disintegrating and dissolving under your eyes, and you want to guard it, to keep it alive, but it's beyond your control. On their side, we have carrying his scars. She becomes the container vessel for his emotional damage. He marks her permanently and walks away clean. And on your partner's side, we have the Ten of Pentacles, which is family, legacy, long-term money, comfort. But we also have the Page of Cups, which is very small communication, immature, heart flutters. Think of a crush, think of being a daydreamer, and maybe your person is literally dreaming of this big, beautiful, comfortable, abundant life of the legacy, but it's just at the stage of a dream, of a hope, of communication, of expressing desires. It's the potential is there, but work needs to be done. It's not a guaranteed, especially with the Page of Cups. It can be literally a new child into their life, or into actually your mutually, because like I'm reading for partnership here. So this could be literally a new child in the family, or it could be the hopes of building this beautiful, regal, everything included fairy tale happy ending. But it's almost like you are dumping all your emotional trauma and dreams and hopes into that, and this person is carrying the weight of it all. Which interesting, because how does that tie in with the Seven of Swords? Are they, so it's like dishonest, and they don't want to confront and admit the truth. On one hand, yes, it's a comfortable, luxurious, having everything that they want available to them through this Page of Cups energy, this young hope, this new, innocent, fresh dream. But it's also somehow lying and cheating. So who is being deceived? Who is the deceiver? What is being stolen from whom? and why. Why is the happily ever after tainted by lies and deceit? And also, if you are projecting all that on them, maybe it then didn't want that, but now you are both stuck in this lie and in this deceit because you imposed this onto them, and they are carrying it and having to lie that, yeah, this is the most beautiful thing that I ever wanted, desired, etc., etc. But it's false. Let's see. 10 of Wands. Yikes. It's also very stressing, very burdensome, very heavy. So the lie and deceit that this person is carrying about the happily ever after and the hope of that, or the new cementing of this hope, of this dream, is a very heavy burden for this person. And maybe that is also influencing the lie. They might not say just how heavy and how burdensome and how stressful this whole situation is. Shining a light, or like a hidden light, that whatever they are putting into it is not worth the end goal, the end result, the 10 of Pentacles. At the cost of a 10 of Wands, it diminishes the value of this happily ever after dream. Danger as philosophy. You told me love was danger. He intellectually, spiritually justifies toxicity, views love as inherently destructive, and uses that belief to excuse his behavior. And here we have the 9 of Pentacles, which is the single, thriving, self-made energy. Interestingly, a decrease from the 10 of Pentacles. And interestingly, as I flip, we have the 10 of Wands. So 10 of Wands, 10 of Wands. Both sides are energetically exhausted and tired. And this person prefers or is more satisfied, fulfilled in a single energy, whereas this person dreams of the happily ever after, home, stable, legacy life, but it's also coming at a cost that is very energetically taxing. So he justifies toxicity and views love as inherently destructive, so the runner, and uses that belief to excuse his behavior, which is lying about his own patience and expectations from the partner and from the situation. Ouch. King of Pentacles. Very well off, very comfortable, very set in money. And Queen of Pentacles, divine match. So both externally and internally well off, as in emotionally and financially comfortable, but ideally he would prefer to be on his own, being single. And this whole thing is a weight and a burden and a stress, because he might see, now that he has somebody or maybe a family in his charge, depending on him, he needs to be a more solid provider. Think long term, think being emotionally and financially stable, secure, providing, and not just for himself, in which case if something happens, it's only him to worry about. But now that we have the family situation and potentially a child, the 10 of Wands is even more so impactful, because it's 3 people that are at minimum in the scenario and not just one, which is triple the stress, triple the 10 of Wands. Taxing energy. So yeah, okay, so let's go back on this side, because I don't have anything more to say about that. Carrying he... no, wait. Yeah, so addicted to the divine spark. We never had a future, just a spark we call divine. She clings to the belief, transcendent moments, romanticizing the intensity even though she intellectually knows it was doomed. So she knew it was false, and yet still. But there is a sense of potentially leaving the situation with that Six of Swords, Queen of Wands, maybe finally having the guts, the courage to leave the situation, the falsehood of it all at least, and moving into a safe and secure situation. She knew that she is beautiful, confident on her own, but something somewhere, maybe the shiny appeal of that stability with the Ten of Pentacles was enough to carry the weight of a lie, even if it was exhausting, up to a point where, I mean, everybody has like a different breaking point, and the threshold to reach that depends on a lot of factors in every circumstance. And maybe the earlier memories were enough to keep her in that Nine of Wands wait, didn't we? No. Yeah, no, you had it. On your side, you had the Nine of Wands defending something, and on their side, now mirroring you back, we have the Nine of Wands again. So she or they are also defending, but in this case, it's the whole romanticization of the connection that is being defended for dear life. And we are going back to Three of Wands, which had the starting point, expecting patience. Maybe they were expecting things to turn out in a different way, in a more wholesome, fulfilling way, even if it was contrary to the partner's core nature, but because it was founded on a lie and on deceit on both ends. Both people had their expectations silently living and thriving in the secrecy of their hearts, and the more they kept the illusion and the lie alive for the sake of this union, the heavier it became, the more burdensome it became, the more taxing it became on both partners. Yep. Creator of the villain. If I was the villain, you made me that way. You dressed me in chaos. He projects, provokes, and literally shapes her into the chaotic dark version of herself, then steps back and lets her carry the blame. Eight of Wands. Normally communication. So in this instance, I would say something like fights, or at least argumentation. Ten of Cups, or just happy, friendly banter with Ten of Cups. So at least the communication is good. It's healthy, it's thriving, it's beautiful. But is it genuinely authentic? Or is it false for the sake of keeping falsehood alive, keeping the veil of illusions and the whole glass castle, or like crystal, like it's a castle built on illusions. And for the sake of keeping that alive, communication is emotionally, falsely fulfilling, happy banter, just feel good romantic little things here and there, but it's a projection. And with these cards within this position, he projects, at least you project, provoke, and literally shapes her into a dark version of herself, then steps back and let her carry the blame. You want to get a rise out of your partner, to make them reach the critical point where they want to drop all these wants, all that effort, all that energy, because it's so taxing, so that you can go back to your Nine of Pentacles energy and go back on being single, enjoying life and enjoying the best of life, not having to be so defensive, not having to lie, and maybe finally getting out of this grievance of something that you have lost. Let's see what this is about. So, Page of Wands, definitely want to go back into that carefree energy where it's just fun, carefree, enthusiastic, nothing planned, going with the flow, just living your best life and not being chained and committed and restricted to a certain set of rules to make the other person happy and feel stable and secure within the relationship with you. On their end, skip too hard. Chaotic baptism. You dressed me in chaos and kissed it away. She was both consumed in destruction by him and momentarily absolved, forgiven through his kisses, a cycle of degradation and fleeting redemption. And we have a repeating card with death, change, and here it's a bridge, but can you see the contrasting light? One is a warm, soft gold on her side, and the other one is more like gray cold on the him side. I don't know if the camera captures it as I see it. Five of Cups again, so the both of you are grieving the loss of something, and it's evident. You are grieving something here and being defensive about it, and being defensive about the clarity of what this brought to your life. They are also grieving something and either are yearning for a change, headed towards a change, or aspiring to that change, and to it literally feels like forgiveness. I mean, straight up this card is forgiveness. But forgiveness at what cost? Because on your hand, you are carrying the lie with that Ten of Cups, Eight of Wands, like the happy banter. But on this side, now we have the Five of Wands, which is conflict, discord, not being on the same page because everybody thinks that their opinion is the best opinion, and so there's useless catty fights to make sure that everybody's opinion is pushed to the front line, even if it's destructive to the cohesion of the group, in this case of you and them. Oof. So on one hand, the momentarily forgiveness almost feels like a hope or something to reach for, but then in the practical application of it, we have the Five of Wands, which causes conflict. So it's again back to that idealization of the relationship, of the hope of imagining how things could have shaped to be, but reality is different, and that is causing a conflict. And now to the last bit, the beautiful vintage lie. But you knew how to lie like wine. Forget all the endings, let the fire misbehave. The intoxicating, aged, almost exquisite quality of the deception itself. Both drink from it, both let the destruction fire rage, because the lie is too delicious to end. Ergo, why you are both defending this whole thing, lie to yourselves and to each other. Keep the fort, keep the guard, even if it's taxing, exhausting and weary. even if there are conflicts, even if you lie to yourself and the other because you prefer to be alone, the lie is too delicious. This is the magnetic center of shared mutual complicity in beautiful ruin, and we have the Ten of Swords, which, holy crikey schnitzels, no, we don't have it yet. It's basically backstabbing, betrayal, and sour endings. And the Last Judgment. So, very ending and revival. So there is potentially a chance to revive this whole thing, to start anew on more solid, honest, clear path and foundation. But the both of you need to come clear with the lie that you have been hiding from the other, from the deceit that has been raging on from the get-go, from the initial building of this relationship. If you want the second chance, the revival, and if you want it to be more harmonious, cohesive, balanced, honest, and fair, if you want this thing to be more potent and not disappointing and built in lies that are taxing the both of you. I don't know why I keep knocking my deck. Normally I don't clear the energy. King of Swords, you need to be very strategic, insightful, intellectually aware, and confront the truth and the lies for what they are, so that you can build something and not cause useless pain. That and the Hierophant. There needs to be a change within the structure of your relationship for it to carry into that judgment in a healthy, healing or healed past tense ways, if you want to create a new, more stable, long-lasting Ten of Pentacles energy going forward. As it is currently, the both of you are lying to yourself and to each other. You are mirroring that lies. It's exhausting on both of your ends, and it's causing potentially conflict, even if not honest conflict, because you are trying to literally hide that conflict in tender communication, but there might be undertones in there somehow, because we can't control the way things slip out of our mouths. So you definitely need to end something and change the way you are proceeding forward if you want that second chance. Death and the Hierophant normally would be literally a divorce, but I'm gonna be gracious and generous, and with the aid of the King of Swords and the Judgment, countering that Ten of Swords energy, I'm gonna say you need to be more open, more honest and trustworthy towards each other if you want to heal the pain and avoid that backstabbing, hurtful energy. If you want to sort of channel the end of toxic cycles aspect of that Ten of Swords, you need to allow change to heal you and to build a better, a more structured, more stable, more grounded bridge and foundation going forward. Whatever that means for you in your relationship. Be more open, be more communicative, be more honest. That is absolutely not negotiable, especially since we have the Seven of Swords, and on your end a false patience, false resilience in the beginning of your read. And we have I never meant enough. Unseen, unchosen, rejected. So who is this? Because going back to that Ten of Swords, it's the same. We have a couple and we have an outside witness observing the scene, who feels unseen, unworthy, and that is something that needs to be addressed if you want to go forward with a more grounded, honest, open and more healthy relationship. Oh no, that was too much. I only wanted one more. Come on, guys. Come on, Gemini, just one more before my camera stops. Okay, you know what, I'm gonna take the first one. Unsent messages, what was never said, holding back, drafted and erased. But in this sense, I'm gonna say it's the honesty of your communication, because you do communicate with that Ten of Cups, Eight of Wands. There's like a playful banter back and forth between you and that person. What is being brought to the surface is the genuine depth and honesty of that. It might feel like lovey-dovey on the surface, but do you mean it? Are you honest, genuinely heartfelt, soul-felt, meaning what you're saying, or just saying things for the sake of keeping peace and keeping things afloat? So, Gemini, I'm gonna leave you guys here. I'm sorry if this was a bit rough, but we do shadow work so that we can address and heal important, meaningful situations in our lives. Please comment, like, comment and subscribe, and thank you for supporting my humble little channel. Thank you. See you in the next one. Peace out.